Every major war, every intelligence agency, every global surveillance system traces back to the same origin point, a banking pattern born in 1694. Three stages, four eras, one hidden alliance between finance and espionage shaping the modern world. You were taught that history is shaped by kings, presidents, revolutions, but follow the money and a very different story emerges. In 1694, the British Empire nearly collapsed under its own debt. In 1815, a private banking network outran entire governments. In the 1970s, offshore banks quietly fueled Cold War operations. And today, every digital payment you make is recorded inside a system no one voted for. What connects these moments isn't ideology, it's infrastructure, a financial mechanism that has shaped intelligence, warfare, and power for 330 years. This system didn't just fund nations, it funded espionage itself. Once you understand how the pattern works, you'll never see banking the same way again. Because everything begins in 1694, with a bankrupt empire searching for a miracle. England was financially broken after 9 years of war with France. Soldiers went unpaid, credit collapsed, trust evaporated. Then a group of merchants approached the crown with a shocking proposal. "Give us the exclusive right to create money," they said, "and we'll fund your wars forever." That proposal created the Bank of England. But more importantly, it created the first version of a three-stage pattern. A pattern so invisible and effective, it would define intelligence for centuries. It starts with a simple truth. If you control the infrastructure that moves money, you control the information that moves with it. Stage 1. Build the financial infrastructure. Essential, universal, irreplaceable. Stage 2. Embed intelligence into that infrastructure, where every transaction creates data. Stage 3. Protect the system until it becomes untouchable. Banks fund intelligence. Intelligence protects banks. The loop closes. Once the loop forms, it becomes permanent, and the Bank of England proved it immediately. Because it didn't just issue currency, it created permanent government debt, a bottomless reservoir for war, diplomacy, covert operations. Money became an engine that no king or parliament could turn off, and that engine demanded intelligence to operate. Every loan required information from merchants, diplomats, insurers, spies, naval officers. Every bond issue demanded geopolitical insight. Money flow became intelligence flow. Then stage 3 locked in. The bank became too essential to regulate and too central to challenge. The crown couldn't survive without it, so oversight evaporated. Infrastructure, intelligence, protection. The pattern had begun. But this was only the first iteration. The second would come from a family that built something even more powerful. By 1815, Europe was in chaos. Napoleon's armies moved faster than governments could respond. Information traveled slowly. Decisions lagged dangerously behind events. Except for one network, the Rothschilds. 5 brothers, 5 cities, one financial communication grid. London, Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, Naples, all linked. Their couriers, coded letters, and carrier pigeons transmitted information faster than any government. This was stage 1 again. Infrastructure built for finance, but perfect for intelligence. British officials took notice. Soon, battlefield updates and diplomatic secrets hid inside Rothschild messages. Financial letters had become intelligence channels. Stage 2. Intelligence embedded inside the system was complete. Then came Waterloo. On June 18, 1815, a Rothschild courier reached London with news of Wellington's victory. He arrived before the British government's own messengers. This wasn't just speed, it was dominance. Governments now relied on Rothschild communications. And when governments depend on your network, something inevitable happens. Stage 3. Protection. War financing flowed through the Rothschilds. Diplomats trusted their couriers. They weren't just bankers, they were infrastructure. Infrastructure, intelligence, protection. The pattern repeated perfectly. But the next iteration would be global and far more dangerous. After World War II, the CIA was created to fight communism everywhere, indefinitely. But covert operations needed money Congress controlled. So the CIA looked for funding outside the political system. They found it in the Golden Triangle, Burma, Laos, Thailand, one of the world's largest opium-producing regions. During conflicts in this period, Western intelligence allied with groups funded by the drug trade. Weapons flowed in. Opium and heroin flowed out. But the real transformation didn't happen in the fields. It happened in the banks. Offshore institutions, Nugan Hand, later BCCI, laundered billions through secrecy jurisdictions. This was stage one yet again, new infrastructure. Stage two followed automatically. Tracking the money revealed cartels, factions, battlefield alliances. Money mapping became intelligence gathering. And when scandals erupted, executives vanished, investigations stalled, billions disappeared. But senior intelligence-linked figures avoided prosecution. Stage three, protection, activated exactly as the pattern predicted. Infrastructure, intelligence, protection. 3 eras, one expanding system. But the most powerful version of the pattern was still to come. Because once money went digital, the pattern didn't just repeat, it swallowed the world. Today, global finance runs on invisible infrastructure. SWIFT handles international transfers. Visa and MasterCard run card payments. PayPal, Stripe, Apple Pay run digital commerce. Crypto exchanges and blockchains move digital assets. This is stage one on a planetary scale. Everyone uses it. No one can opt out. After 9/11, governments built stage two into these networks. FATF created global surveillance rules. FinCEN collected oceans of financial data. OFAC could freeze individuals or nations from the dollar system instantly. Banks and payment processors followed automatically. Then Snowden exposed PRISM, X-Keyscore, Bullrun, programs that ingested global metadata, including financial metadata. Meanwhile, In-Q-Tel invested in blockchain analytics. These companies could track every Bitcoin transaction ever made. Crypto wasn't outside the system. It was the perfect surveillance ledger. Public, permanent, traceable. Stage two, intelligence embedded in infrastructure, became total. And now stage three is complete. Banks act as intelligence nodes. Payment apps freeze accounts algorithmically. Crypto exchanges map wallet networks for authorities. The compliance machine protects the system itself. Infrastructure, intelligence, protection. The perfected pattern. Look across 330 years and the arc is unmistakable. 1694, create money infrastructure. Embed state intelligence, protect the bank. 1815, build private courier infrastructure, embed military intelligence, protect the bankers. Cold War, construct offshore infrastructure, embed covert intelligence, protect the banks. 2024, digitize global infrastructure, embed surveillance, protect the entire system. Different centuries, different tools, same 3-stage cycle. Stage one, build what the world cannot function without. Stage two, use it to gather intelligence on everyone who touches it. Stage three, make it too essential to challenge. The pattern doesn't adapt to the world adapts to the pattern. Because once infrastructure becomes intelligence, democracy becomes optional. The system governs itself. Your bank reports your unusual transfers. Your apps log your behavior. Your crypto ledger is permanent. Every transaction becomes identity, not because someone is watching, but because the infrastructure itself is the watcher. Intelligence agencies didn't infiltrate banking. They evolved alongside it. The Bank of England proved the concept. The Rothschilds scaled it. Offshore banks globalized it. Digital payments perfected it. 3 stages, 4 eras, 1 system. And now, as cash disappears and digital rails dominate daily life, the final stage becomes unavoidable. Because the end game isn't controlling money, it's embedding surveillance so deeply into the infrastructure that people forget money ever worked without it. The pattern is complete. The system is self-sustaining. Its power is structural, not political. And it governs the world quietly, automatically, relentlessly. Which leaves one final question. Now that you finally see the pattern and understand the architecture behind it, and recognize the system you've always lived inside, what do you do with a pattern designed never to be escaped? That answer and what you choose next determines the rest of the century.